SP knows that you are God, so be their creator. I am Neil Larthos, the next Abdullah, and you are the next Neville Goddard. Okay? So you want to manifest your SP. Well, you came to the right place, my friend. Okay? Now, I know watching this is probably like watching one of those sleazy car salesmen, and you're probably thinking, what the hell is this guy trying to sell me? Well, first of all, I don't even have my consultation available yet. I'm just here to give you free game. No questions asked. And if you guys want to work with me, that's a plus. But I love you so much that I'm willing to give you what has worked for me, free of charge. The way it works when trying to manifest a specific person, just like the title says, understand that you are God. This is no joke. This is no fable. You are creator. No, that doesn't mean that you created the heavens and the earth and that you bore the rib cage out of man and created woman. But what it does mean is that everything that you see in your life right now is a reflection of your past assumptions. And the whole fact that you don't have the love life of your dreams has nothing to do with the fact that you're not looks maxing enough, or that you don't go to the gym hardly at all, that you're eating McDonald's all day. All these things are simply creations that you have manifested through years and years and years of thinking, which is what we mean by a reflection of your past assumption. So when you understand that you are God, that means that you're not limited to human faculties. We all watch these movies about superheroes and we think, oh, I would like to fly. Oh, I would like to have super strength and durability and work magic. Well, you are more fucking powerful than the Avengers combined. Okay? All these people in Infinity War and the Infinity Gauntlet, you have an Infinity Gauntlet. You have the Soul Stone. You have the Mind Stone. You have the Power Stone. You have everything. But you have limited yourself because you believe that you are just a human. But you actually are an eternal being living in a human experience. Now, if you want proof of that, I could give you the whole gist of that in this video, but this is not what you came here for. Watch my video called The Craziest Spiritual Awakening Testimony. It has like maybe 700 views, which it'll probably have 700,000 once I blow up here on YouTube, but for now it has 700 views. That explains everything. If you are concerned about, oh, well, what do you mean if I'm God? This is all bullshit. That will explain everything. So when you get to the point where you realize that you are not your mind, that you are not your body, manifestation is a lot more easier. Okay? And the way it works is like this. If your circumstances are a reflection of your past assumptions, then all you have to do is change your assumptions. Okay? And the best way to do that is to realize that because you're God, you can embody the state of your wish fulfilled right now. Okay? A lot of these people like to call it living in the end, acting as if. Those are all Neville terms, right? For me, the simplest way to describe it to you, which was the way that it made sense more for me, is create an alter ego that looks exactly like yourself, but that has the things that you're trying to manifest. In this case, SP. So you like the girl at the gym. Right now, you don't have her, right? But if Steven Spielberg gave you a movie script and he said, I want you to star in my movie, and the way it's going to work is you're going to look exactly the same, you're going to dress the same, you're going to still be a fan of Miley Cyrus, but you your love interest is going to be the girl at the gym. As a matter of fact, she's going to be chasing you. It's not going to be, oh, does she love me? Oh, is she going to say yes? No, it's going to be where you're the guy that she wants to be with. It might even be that you kind of have other options on the side, but yet she doesn't care. She's chasing you. That's the whole movie, is about her chasing you. And maybe it's other things. You have the career of your dreams. You know, you have a nice fancy car. But what would it be like if you were starring in a movie where the girl at the gym was chasing you, right? What would the movie trailer look like? What would your tone of voice be? Would you change your attire? Would you do something differently with your morning routine, right? Now, again, when you create this alter ego, you don't want to change anything in the 3D, right? You don't want to say, okay, well, maybe I would be going to the gym more. Maybe I would be look maxing, okay? You could do those things, right? But the more you try to force it, the more you try to do things to get it, the more you're actually doing it wrong. You see, the way it works is you're not actually wanting to become the character that eventually gets her. You want to say, what would the movie look like if I've already have been with her for years, right? So scratch what I said about the movie script where she's chasing you, because I mean, if you want that to be the dynamic, okay, sure, but I'm pretty sure you want it to be where you guys are already dating, or you are already in a relationship with them, right? And that's the thing. A lot of us will make the mistake of, I'm affirming that she's in love with me. I'm affirming that she's obsessed with me. I'm affirming that she can't live without me. But you see, people who say the things, I can't live without them, are probably struggling because they don't have them, right? You don't want to manifest a situation where she's obsessed with you, but there's maybe abusive ex-boyfriend in the picture, or she's texting you all the time, but you end up realizing that you don't have feelings for her anymore. You don't want to do that. You want to ask yourself, what would the movie look like if we were already married? What would the movie look like if we are in a very passionate relationship? Or maybe you want something casual, whatever your case is, be in that end and be in that movie, okay? Because again, if you try to look smacks, if you try to say, well, if I go to the gym, then I'll have her, you're doing it wrong. You want to be the guy who already did those things, you know, and already has her right now. Because you don't want to focus on actually what I would do. The better way to look at it is, how would this character feel? Because out of those feelings, out of those sensations, is going to come those natural inspired actions, right? So this video is not going to tell you actually what you need to do, what things you need to avoid. When you embody the state, those things are going to come naturally, okay? But look at it like an alter ego that looks exactly the same as you. But ask yourself, how would I feel? How would brushing my teeth feel knowing that she's texting me all the time and can't wait to see me, just like she saw me the previous weekends? What would going to work every day to that job that you hate feel? Would you feel more excited, more motivated? Would you have a bigger grin on your face because you know that you're going to see your SP later? Probably. I'll tell you this. I remember my appetite would change whenever my girlfriend would text me, or when I was in love with my ex, when she would text me. I remember days when she would be cold and distant. I would not even feel like eating, and I lost a lot of weight. But all it would take is one affectionate, you know, I love you, te quiero mucho, and then all of a sudden, I'm eating 3 cheeseburgers from Whataburger. And it felt like a celebration, like if I got a huge promotion. Whatever it is for you, you know how you feel when you're on top of the world, or when it's payday and everything is going great. The sun looks brighter, you know, you have more energy, right? You know how it feels when you are in a good mood, when you finally got what you wanted. You can even go back to the feeling of when you were a kid and you got that toy that you've been hoping for Christmas. Try to mimic those sensations. This is what a lot of actors do, by the way, when they're trying to embrace a role. They don't actually have to go into specifics and literally make sure that they have every single thought the exact way. No, they know what it feels like to be happy. They know what it feels like to have a good day. They know what it feels like where you are on top of the world. Everybody has felt that. There's even kindergartners right now who know what that feels like. Okay? There's even people who've never been in a relationship who know what it feels like to be happy. Because that is what they mean when they say that you already have it in you, that the kingdom of heaven is within, is that you can already embody these states, these feelings right now. All you got to do is ask yourself, what did it feel like when I got that toy on Christmas? What did it feel like when I had a great day at work and I felt like nothing could go wrong? Try to embody those states and bring that into your imagination. Now, can you do affirmations? Can you do visualizations? I actually really love affirmations, but with any technique, even the technique of being in a movie, I would say that it's not 100% necessary to do any of these when you truly realize who you are. When you realize that you have been manifesting bullshit your whole entire career, you know, career issues at your workplace, relationship trifles, all those were from your creation. You didn't even have to do a single session of SATs. You didn't have to do a single technique of embodying the state. You did that just by one little assumption of somebody calling you ugly, and then all of a sudden you said, oh shit, now I'm unworthy of love. And then you carried that for the rest of your eternity, and now that's the reason why you got that reflected back to you in your 3D circumstances. Well, the same way that you were able to do that without even trying, just like at a snap of a finger, is the same way that you technically can get to the point where you don't have to do any of these techniques. But I know a lot of you guys are not there. So for affirmations, I'm going to make it simple for you before this turns into a full-length movie. The best affirmations, look, if you're not gonna go hard, go home. The best affirmations are to make them as extreme and as narcissistic as possible. Because again, you have been spending your whole life talking bullshit about yourself, saying you're unworthy of love and yada, yada, yada. You want to put yourself on the pedestal. Another term that I like to call it is self-pedestalization. Go, whether you're going to a restaurant, whether you're going to work, or whether you're on your way to the date, say that everywhere I go, they lay the red carpet for me. I am on the tallest peak on top of the world, higher than Mount Everest. I am the most important human being in every room that I walk in. Start saying shit like that. Remind yourself that you're all that is. Remind yourself that you are the I am, that you are the only one that matters. Say that you are the most intelligent, more intelligent than Albert Einstein times 100 trillion. And with SPs, say that every single time that you make eye contact with your SP, they wet their panties. Or if you're a girl, every single time that he sees you, they get rock hard instantly and stay like that. Like if they're on fucking Viagra. Say the most craziest shit possible, almost to the point where you're laughing at yourself because of how ridiculous it sounds. But I kid you not, my friends. It's so ridiculous that it actually wakes the fuck up out of your subconscious. Because again, I've always liked to say that your subconscious is like a kid who is on their iPad all day. You know, nobody is going to get their attention unless you take the iPad away or you turn off the television, right? Well, you have to wake them up so crazy that it's almost like a bomb exploded. Well, this is your fucking bomb. Okay, I remember I tried one of these affirmations one time with a girl at work, and she went from ignoring me, not even acting like I existed, to we started making out in the damn storage room just by me saying every single time in my head when I was near her that she carries 5 pairs of panties to work every day because she can't stop touching herself in the bathroom. Literally, all it took was me saying that a couple of times, and she went from doing all this crazy stuff on social media to practically, thank God we didn't get HR involved, okay? So the more extreme your affirmations, the better. Now, visualizations, I've always liked to say this. It is true that the more vivid you make them, the more powerful, I guess, they can be, the more potent. But I will say that if you make that a belief that you have to make all visuals potent and AK ultra and vivid, and you have to feel it, and then that's the secret, then you are making it more difficult on yourself. Remember, you are God. You make the rules. But to me, I like to make my visualizations more vivid, not because I think that they are required, but because when you are waiting for the materialization in the 3D reality, you want to feel the embrace of your SP. Hell, you want to be intimate with them. I'm just going to say, you want to fuck the living shit out of them, okay? Before you actually fuck the living shit out of them, okay? Let's just be real here, guys. Let's just call a spade for spade. So I'm going to say this right now. Be relieved that you actually don't have to even visualize to begin with to get your SPs. Because remember, when you were manifesting your boss yelling at you on your way to work, you didn't have to visualize their boogers in their nose or, hear it in 8K IMAX. Okay, you just said, oh my gosh, my boss is probably gonna fucking kill me for being 5 minutes late. And next thing you know, he wrote you up. He probably wouldn't have done that if you were not just so fucking negative, but he did, right? Well, if you can do that willy-nilly, you don't have to visualize. But again, I like to visualize and give you guys techniques because I want you to feel it before you actually feel it, right? In the whole waiting process, even though if you consider it a waiting process, it's actually fucking up your awareness, because you shouldn't ever be aware of waiting, because if you are aware of waiting, you are admitting you don't have it. But my opinion, the best visualization techniques, I'm not even going to sponsor myself. I would suggest you looking into Eric from The Power of I Am, the fucking Lex Luthor motherfucker himself. That bastard has remote seduction, the Adonis effect. That motherfucker is one of the most inspirational visualizers, affirmationers out there. Okay, and he's a great manifestation coach in general. I love that guy. You would have to get a membership in order to watch his remote seduction video and the Adonis effect. But basically, remote seduction is where he gives you a visualization where you can actually become, you basically are giving your SP an orgasm remotely, right? Basically, you are manifesting yourself as their sexual desire, their number one sexual fantasy, basically. And the Adonis effect is pretty much the same thing. You are putting yourself on the pedestal, and it basically makes you a love magnet, to say the least. But check his stuff out. The Power of I Am, that's the name of his YouTube channel. But if I could give you a technique, what I would suggest is when you affirm all these extreme things, imagery already pops up in your head. You can use that imagery and mess around with that and create a scene from that. Or what a lot of Neville creators like to say is create a scene. Me personally, you do not have to fucking make Act 1, Act 2, and fucking hire a cinematographer and, make sure all your actors have the line. I would suggest is, look, me personally, I have always been one that when I was manifesting SP, I wanted to get intimate. I'm not going to shy away from it, okay? A lot of you guys want to see them telling you that they love you or whatever. Well, me, it was a little bit more difficult. I had to get, triple X in that bitch, okay? So for me, what I did is, like I said, I didn't want to make the scene long, because the longer you make the scene, the more fucking difficult it's going to be. But if I was wanting to feel a certain part of their body, I would focus on that. And I would replay that over and over and over again, kind of like a fucking music video. And I would put music in my head and really imagine it. And to make it simpler, I would zoom in rather than making this a whole bird eyes view of a scene, right? Because again, if I'm focusing on one body part, that's all I'm really thinking of to begin with. Even when we're kissing, right? We have our eyes closed, but we are still kind of imagining their lips, if that makes sense, right? But you're not imagining anything else, the trees around you or whatever. You're just focusing on the lips. So that's one thing if you want to do intimacy. Only focus on that body part. If you want to add some music in the background, do that. But other than that, if it's something basic, like you guys are on a date or you guys are washing dishes together or whatever symbolizes that you're in the inn, I'll let you create that. But one thing I would suggest is if you struggle with vividness, what I would do is, because repeating the visualization over and over again daily helps manifest it quicker, because you are putting that into your subconscious, and the more whatever you put into your awareness, the more it sticks to you and the more it becomes you. And whatever you become, like Neville said, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So when you were repeating visualizations, it is more powerful. Here's a technique that makes it more fun though. If you're manifesting, for example, you guys are on a dinner date, but because for some reason, whenever you visualize, she looks blurry or fucking she looks like your mother, what I would do is, you might only get like a blurry image of her face, or maybe you guys are saluting shot glasses or whatever. Every single time that you go back to the scene, make sure it's the same scene, but every day I want you to add a new detail, okay? You don't necessarily have to make the scene complete from the beginning. Maybe in the first day, you try to add more detail to her face. Maybe get a fucking zoom in shot with the camera and get her cute smile. And then the next day, maybe you can add more color to her hair. And the more you do this, the more you are taking baby steps and making your visualizations more vivid. But here's another thing. Because you each and every day are adding a new detail, and you are keeping the previous detail from the previous days, not only are you making it more and more HD, but because you are focusing on one different detail each and every day, it is adding more potency to your manifestation to begin with. Because like I said, the more you put something in your awareness, the more you're going to manifest that. The more you manifest and put into your awareness your boss yelling at you, or I never can get what I want, the more you're going to manifest that. Rather than just saying, well, my life is shitty. You might not have your life is shitty manifested at work, but maybe you go to the grocery store and you fucking, for some reason, because you always say your life is shitty, now God is like, okay, well, I'm going to put 50 people in line at the checkout scanners, the self-checkout scanners, and it's all because you kept saying that your life is shitty. It's like, well, I had a good day at work, but fuck, thanks to me saying that my life is shitty, now I have to deal with 50 Karens complaining and wanting a refund, all because God decided to, shuffle it for me. But when you're specific, you will get that manifested to you. And if you are fucking looking at your girlfriend's or your SP's smile all day, and then the next day you're looking at the pimple that she has on her back, well, guess what? God is going to be like, shit, now I have to fucking show the pimple on her back, and now he's going to have to do it doggy style thanks to this bastard giving me the whole 8K IMAX fucking vision. Add a new detail each and every day. That's my cue, guys. I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. Okay, actually, okay, 1, 2, 3. You could even be thinking of the pimple on their back, and thanks to, okay, fuck. 1, 2, 3. You're thinking of the pimple on her back. And because of that, God is going to be like, oh shit, now I have to freaking make them do doggy style because he kept looking at the pimple underneath her neck tattoo. Whatever you put into your awareness, that will be reflected back to you. Add a new detail each and every day to your visualization. And it's fun because another way I like to see it is it's like writing a love letter to yourself about your SP, but visually. And each and every day, you're adding a new line to the love letter. Try that. Let me know what you guys think. I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I'm Awareness had to say. And I know you're going to be okay.